Okay, so this is probably one of the coolest things that we have seen from Anthropic since the release of Claude Code. They just released a new product called Claude Design that lets you collaborate with Claude to create polished visual work like designs, prototypes, slides, and animations. Think of this as a design partner which is powered by Claude Opus 4.7. Opus is pretty great at multimodal reasoning, especially this new version, and seems like this new product is powered by that model. Now, on the announcement of the product itself, Figma stock dropped almost 8% today, which is kind of crazy. I think it's overreaction, but it really shows you the power that Anthropic has accumulated, because whenever they release a new product, there seems to be a pretty strong reaction in the market. Now, in this video, I want to show you what exactly this new product looks like. How is the experience? I think it still has some rough edges around the corners, but it's a really good start. Okay, so here's the blog post introducing Claude Design by Anthropic Labs. So their idea is that you'll be able to produce realistic prototypes, product wireframes and markups, design explorations, pitch decks and presentations. It actually works pretty nicely for this. I have tried it. Marketing, collateral, and frontier design. The main thing is that if your company has a design system, you can provide that to Claude to create assets based on that specific design, which is pretty great. Okay, so if you go to claude.ai/design, here's how the UI or interface looks like. You have prototype, slide deck, font template. If you have set up your own design system, now this is something that designers or product people will have for a specific company, or you can build your own with Claude. So let me show you a couple of things that I was able to do, and then we're going to walk through some practical examples. Okay, so just to show you a quick example, I'm working on a video on how to do session management in Claude Code. Now, I just provided this blog post to Claude Design, and I simply asked it to create an animation based on that blog post, right? And here's what kind of it came up with. So it created all the assets, animation, and even now let's start with looking at the design, the actually language of Anthropic, a system where you can how organize your design system for Claude to follow, which is pretty awesome, right? I didn't actually explicit detail as well. These are all the animations like just by reading the assets that are able to created by use Claude Design, the design language, and you can actually take some of these as inspiration. You can do a lot more with this, but once you create an asset, iOS, you can also export with a sign-up flow. Either as something you would zip file, probably do to PDF, Figma, PPT before send it to Canva, hand it off to export it as an engineer, but now you can HTML actually, or you can hand it off to, and you can see these are very simple prompts further will work on something started, which is pretty neat. If I am building a product, you come up with use a design or a prototype to explore different ideas. It's like handing off it off to UI engineer is going to look like, to continue working on that, just pass it which is pretty cool to your engineer, which is Claude Code in this case, and Claude Code can help you refine and implement it. Okay, we're going to do a quick live test and let's see what it's going to do. So I want to redesign my website for Write, which is my own Mac OS app for speech to text. This is completely local, works across all different applications on your Mac OS. And in fact, a Windows version is coming pretty soon. So I want to redesign this, let's say in the style of something like linear. Okay, so we're going to create a project for this. Okay, so we're going to say create, and now I need to provide my prompt. And even actually the whole UI is pretty great. Can you redesign this website in the style of linear.app? Okay, so I'm saying to redesign my write.com in the style of linear.app, and also just provided a couple of screenshots from linear. Let's see what exactly does it do. Okay, so for some reason it opened the uploads folder. I think this is because I provided those screenshots. Now it seems to be running a version of Claude Code under the hood because it's able to fetch web links, read the content. Oh, wow. Okay. So the thing is that it's a collaborative tool. So based on my user prompt, it's asking me some questions. Okay, so I'm going to provide answers. And not only it presented you with a few options, but you can also provide free-flowing text if you want. Wow. Okay, so even this is actually pretty awesome. Now, for some of them, you can select multiple different options like here. For other ones, you can select only one of them. I think they definitely need to work on that because it's not clear which one you can do just by reading it. Okay, so I'm going to just select a few random things and let's see what it does. So we're going to hit continue, and it's actually relatively fast. Now the UI itself could use some work. Okay, so I was curious whether it's going to build the usage against my normal Claude.hourly limits. I haven't actually seen that it's including these yet, which is very interesting. It might update, but right now I don't really see that it's using it's using my profile. Okay, so the initial implementation of the design is complete. Now we can go and you can see it in full screen or open it in a new tab. All right, so here's how the website looks like. It's actually pretty neat. Now, even a few months ago, you would expect a simple AI slop from these models, but the progress that we have made is pretty incredible. And I kind of like this animation style because it added what are the different keystrokes that enable the automatic transcription. And also this is based on the visual references that we provided. Actually, I'm now thinking that I probably will take some of these design inspiration and actually put it in the website, right? So these are the FAQs. Seems like it read all the contents from the web page and then implemented everything here. And it's functional as well, right? So now this could be as a starting point, and then I can refine the design itself. Now you have a few options for that. If you enable tweaks, you can just add comments to a specific element in the design that you have created, right? And if you have seen the new Codex app, they have a web browser which also gives you very similar capabilities where you can pinpoint a specific element and then provide feedback on that. So let's say I'm going to say something like replace this logo with a sound waveform. All right, and then I can just send it to Claude and it's going to continue working, right? Similarly, you can change the design elements and let's say the background style, the font here. And it actually, for me, it also implemented these background elements that I can just select and then it will automatically apply to the web page. Also, you have the ability to just select or draw directly and then provide feedback. This is very similar to what AI Studio does. It gives you this canvas and you can provide feedback directly there, right? So pretty neat. I think it's a really good implementation of this design system. Now, from the conversation that I have seen, people think that Anthropic is trying to create a competitor to something like Lovable or Rap. In principle, you could potentially do it, but I think that's going to be a much bigger effort because it's not only about the front end, right? You need to have the infrastructure to support the backend authentication, databases, and everything for apps that people are going to be building. I hope Anthropic is not going to go that way because that will mean that their focus is going to change from their main coding agents, which are probably the best in the industry right now. We saw this with OpenAI as well when they tried to do way too many things. They kind of lost focus and the products degraded, right? So hopefully Anthropic is going to stay focused and primarily create these incredible coding agents and models. But do let me know what you think. I am going to be exploring more of this, and I feel like this is something I can actually use in my day-to-day work and for my YouTube channel as well. I hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you in the next one.